What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. And we're going to finish up our little series on potential rookie deal extensions handed out to players entering their fourth year. And obviously, we've done, I would say we've done the heavy hitters here. I would argue we've done the heavy hitters, the guys who have a real chance of getting extended. But I do want to mop things up with the other two guys in that rookie class that have performed at the very least well over their 3 years here. So I think you guys can guess who the guy later today is going to be. But for this video, we're going to talk about Coby Bryant. And Coby Bryant, interesting case, really hard to draw a comparison here, admittedly. Really hard to come up with a guy that you can parallel, but we're going to take a shot at it. We're going to try and we're going to see if it makes sense to give Coby Bryant long-term money so you can lock him up before maybe bigger money kicks in next offseason. So, Coby Bryant, interesting case. Rookie season, he mostly played slot corner, played decently well, did pretty well. There were problems, but there was also some good stuff too. And overall, I was happy. Second year, didn't play very much. Was inactive for half the games. Didn't really get on the field that much when he was active. I think it was less than 300 snaps on defense. So yeah, it was not there was not much to say. Granted, most of the reason why he lost some playing time was because we drafted Devin Witherspoon and Coby got bumped down the pecking order, but still nothing there. And then 2024 he starts the season as a reserve and then he gets a chance as a safety and he ends up playing very well as a safety. He ends up doing a really good job protecting over the top, takes the ball away, becomes a guy who gets involved in a lot of turnovers, and holds up well against the run. So, Coby Bryant, against all odds, has at least entered the conversation for a guy who could get paid this offseason. Obviously, you wouldn't pay him a lot because we're talking about basically 11 good games because we don't really care that much about what he did as a rookie. Great, great stuff he did as a nickel corner in 2022. Well, not great, but pretty good stuff. But that's not what we're looking at him right now as. We are looking at him as a safety. So we're talking about 11 games of, I would say, pretty good play. I respect and I appreciate what he did, but you can only go so far with it. It's 11 games. Before then, he wasn't even the third stringers, and the previous year, he really made no real impact on the team whatsoever. Pro Football Focus was high on him last year. They gave him well above average scores in every category: overall, pass rush, coverage, run defense. In pretty much every area, they considered him to be above average, if not good. So I think Pro Football Focus really struggles to evaluate safeties. So I would not take them as gospel here, but it is worth noting that they like him too. So, with all that being said, how are you going to find a good contract for him? Because there are not many players out there that switch position in their third year and start playing the best football of their life, having not done anything the previous year. It's a little bit of a weird circumstance. So, we're going to blow through the first several guys on this list. We're not giving Coby Bryant 20 million or 15 million or even like 11 or 12 million like that. I don't think that's happening. I don't think that can even be a consideration. So let's start with Amani Hooker. Amani Hooker, who got a 3-year $30 million deal from the Tennessee Titans back in 2022. So this was a few off seasons ago, which is a little bit of a problem. But Amani Hooker came into the league in 2019, played for the Titans for 3 years, and then got extended going into his fourth season. So it actually is a decent comp in terms of that. Now, you can see that he played a lot more than Coby. His development and maturation as a player was a little bit more normal than Coby. And if you look at Pro Football Focus, you take a look at, his rookie year, they thought he was decent, workable, maybe about average. Second year, slight growth, slight improvement, above average player now. Coverage grade goes up significantly as one of the better coverage grades of any safety. And then that third year, He moons. He's top 5 safety by PFF. They love his coverage. They love his run defense. Pass rush more in the middle, but that's not really a big consideration. Amani Hooker doesn't blitz enough, really. So at that point, they decide, hey, let's take care of this. Let's pay him. Now it was 3 off seasons ago, but I still don't think we're there. Like Coby just hasn't done this, right? He hasn't had this big breakout year where he becomes, according to Pro Football Focus, one of the best safeties in the league. He didn't have 3 years of consistent quality, workable production. He just didn't. So definitely not there yet for me. Next guy would be let's take a look at the list here. How about Darnell Savage? That's a workable comparison, and it was last off season. So let's take a look at Darnell Savage and try to feel this one out. And it's already going to be a little bit of a frustrating comp because Darnell Savage is one of those guys who played out his rookie deal and then went to another team. I think it's always a little different when you leave your original team and go to a new team as a free agent because it means teams can openly bid on you and you can drive the price up. So you're getting a little bit more. Now, Darnell Savage was a first-round pick in 2019, and he played all 5 years of his rookie deal. You can see he missed a handful of games. He played 10 games in his contract year, but other than that, was pretty reliably healthy, stayed on the field pretty consistently, put up good numbers, started almost every game that he played in, made plays on the ball, did positive things. Generally speaking, was considered a little bit of a disappointment. He was just considered to be a decent player, starting caliber player, but nothing over the top remarkable for Darnell Savage. You look at Pro Football Focus, they thought his rookie year was pretty good. It was okay, decent, passable. Second year made big strides in all categories. Started taking the ball away more, pass rush grade, coverage grade really good. Third year regresses heavily, according to PFF. I want to stress that. Coverage grade goes back to mediocre. Run defense grade is near the bottom of the league in terms of safeties. Fourth year, and by the way, after this third year, they declined to extend him. Fourth year, according to Pro Football Focus, terrible. Coverage grade, one of the worst in all of football. Now, again, I really want to say PFF and safeties often are, they're like this. They go in completely different directions, and I don't think Pro Football Focus does as nearly as good a job evaluating safeties as they evaluate other positions. I think linebackers and safeties are really hard for them, but nevertheless, it is worth noting that they graded Darnell Savage well in previous years. They did not in this one. And then in his contract year, he does regress a little bit more towards the positive. Well, not regress. It would be, degress, redegress, whatever. Anyway, he's workable again. He's passable again. He makes that big play in the playoffs, pick 6 on Dak Prescott, and then he gets paid. So on the one hand, Darnell Savage doesn't have some reputation as a very good player when he got his contract, which was 3 years, 21 and 3/4. So that's $7.25 million a year. But he certainly played more than Coby. He produced more than Coby. And overall, I still don't think we're there quite yet. Darnell Savage also has more pedigree because he was a former first-round pick. He probably got a little more money because he was on the open market. And I think that the year after year after year quality production, even if not all of it is great, is going to count for something compared to somebody like Coby that has not even one full season of good production at safety. So I think we're going to keep going past this one. Next guy I want to take a look at here would be Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones of the now Denver Broncos. 3 years, $20 million, so that's 6 2/3 million. So that's just under 7. And Brandon Jones, again, not in the same spot because he played out his rookie deal in Miami. He played 4 years for them. First year immediately became a pretty impactful, important player, but wasn't starting full-time. Second year became almost a full-time starter. Third year, he missed more than half the season, so they ended up not extending him. And he played the full season in 2023, so that helped, but he wasn't even a full-time starter then. So it was kind of a weird 4 years, kind of like what we saw with Coby Bryant, right? Coby Bryant was not smooth in his development in his first 3 years in the league, but he makes it to free agency, and Denver gives him that money, and he actually ends up having a career year. So good for Brandon Jones. He didn't throw in the towel after he got paid. Looking at Pro Football Focus, for whatever it's worth, rookie year, they thought he was about average. Year after that, they thought he was a little below average, actually. 53.4, not good. And then the next year, the year he missed most of the season, they thought he was a little below average. And then he has his breakout year by Pro Football Focus standards in 2023. So take that as you will. They really liked his pass rushing. They really liked his coverage grade. So they saw something here with Brandon Jones that they thought was covetable because he got that money in free agency. So we're definitely, I feel like we're barking up the right tree here. I still don't think we're there quite yet because Brandon Jones hit free agency. Anybody could have signed him. So there's probably a little bit of a bidding war going on where you have to pay a little bit more to get him, because in the case of somebody like a Coby Bryant, you're not competing against anybody. You're just either Coby Bryant signs or Coby Bryant plays the last year of his rookie deal for what? Not even $2 million against the cap. So I don't think we're there yet. Brandon Jones, for all of his flaws over his first 4 years, probably did more to earn money than Coby. We're close, though. And then I get to Alohi Gilman of the Chargers, who last offseason got 2 years, call it 10 million. It's slightly more than 10 million, but basically 5 million per year. So Alohi Gilman, take a look at him with the Chargers. He played out the 4 years of his rookie deal and then got extended to that 2-year deal. And the first 3 years of his career, he doesn't really start very many games. He starts a few. That first year, he basically didn't play at all. The year 2, year 3 shows some development, starts to play a little bit more, but not a lot. And then he has that 4th-year breakout where he starts 14 games and puts up some pretty notable numbers for you. And then he gets the extension. So Alohi Gilman, take a look at Pro Football Focus, rookie year. Not that this means anything because he barely played, but really poorly graded this year. The next year, second year, little below average, but not terrible. The next year, again, kind of in that below average level. Not bad, but not really anything that you're excited about. And then the final year before he gets paid, he has this big breakout, right? 86.1. And it's like, oh, he's good now. After 3 years of being kind of a whatever player, he's good now, so they pay him, right? And the other thing with Gilman is he was a 6th-round pick, right? He was a 6th-round pick. So I don't know if there's any pedigree with Coby, but if there is, there's more of it than there is with Gilman. And I think we've kind of found a workable comp here. It's not perfect, but I think you could kind of draw some lines here. Gilman was a player who really didn't do that much his first 3 years in the league. You can see that he started a grand total of 9 games, and then the final year of his rookie deal, he basically gets the job full time and does well, and he gets his extension. So I think we're kind of there, and I think that because it is one off season later, you're talking about a little bit of an increase from Gilman. So my guess on a Coby Bryant extension, well, first of all, let me just say this. Looking at these players, I think the thing that becomes apparent is that the players that are of Coby Bryant's caliber of player typically do not get extended after the 3rd year. Typically, they have to play the 4th year out and then get a contract. So, does he get extended? I would guess no. Would I extend him? Maybe. But I'm guessing the price would be somewhere around either 2 years, 12 million, so the same as what Rayshon Jenkins got, or 3 years, 18 million. So either way, that's about 6 million a year. Maybe you could get it down to like 5.5 a year. So somewhere between that 5.5 million a year to 6 million a year range. That's what I would guess that it would take. And I think you go lower than that, Coby is like, it's not really worth it for me to do that. Like, it's better than what I have, but I can let it ride and maybe I can get a Julian Love-sized contract extension next offseason, or even a Jabril Peppers next offseason. If I do well, I will get significantly more than that. So it has to make sense for both sides. So 3 years, 18 million, I'd be okay doing that. It's not my preference, because while I like Coby, I don't think he's so good that we have to keep him. But I would like to see a little bit of a discount from that number if I'm actually going to do it. Something like 3 years, 15 million. So my guess would be no, because I don't think he'd be down with that. But that's about where I would be like, yeah, let's just go ahead and lock it in. All right, let me know what you guys think. See you guys later. Go Hawks. That's my take on the Coby Bryant potential extension.